Welcome to the boardroom. I'm your host, Ntalonje Ngcakaza. Today we are in Midrand for the Women in Digital Energy Awards. This is an award ceremony to encourage business and to facilitate collaboration among these women in this energy space. I'm your host, Ntalonje Ngcakaza. Welcome.
The directors of WIP themselves and also some of the key stakeholders that makes up the White Awards. Ladies, leaders in the energy space, in the digital space, in all the spaces of power. Esteemed guests, beautiful ladies tonight. Even in the overflow, there are gentlemen there. You look very beautiful. And I'm glad we showed up. And I'm glad we came. The Women's Month can never be anything about us, without us. Watinta bafazi? Wena? No, usufile. We must learn to say that. You are not about to die. You are dead already. So thank you very much. We gather today, this evening. Of course, we all know it's the end of the Women's Month. We pay tribute to the women of 1956, as it was indicated. But also we think we do, as we do that, need to contextualize their struggle to understand it very well. Besides the selflessness and the bravery was the unity in diversity. Look at their pictures very closely. All of them adorned in whatever religion or culture that they believed in. The Indian women are in their saris. The African women are so beautiful in their dukes, whatever, how they interpreted themselves. They joined, they brought everybody together under one common vision. And it was to go to Stradom and to say, you stop what you are doing. Now, if we can't learn sisterhood and unity from that, then we'll never be united. Then we'll never achieve any other thing. But at least we can't lie that nobody showed us that unity is the foundation, at least for the productivity of women. So when Maya Angelou says, fix the crown, she means it. Fix the crown of the next. Don't ridicule how the crown is not straight. Straighten it and tell her to walk with pride. So simply put, we must refuse to simply mark this month, but rather ensure that 365 days in our calendar are days where we deliberately push one another forward and push love. The rest shall follow. So our position needs to be very clear. We need to stand against persistent inequalities. We need to shout strongly that it is unfair to have the same size of the pitch, to have the same size of players, 11 in each team, to have the same size of the ball, to wear the same type of a kit, but because you are banyana, you are paid less. We must say it openly, and it can't be said by those who are in the sports fraternity only. Then the voice won't be loud enough. We must say it collectively to say, on their behalf, if sponsorship at SAFA, collectively it's 10 rand, then it must be shared equal. And possibly, let it be shared on the basis of performance. So I'm watching, I know Bafana, they are playing some days to come. Zobabon. But then we will be told there's sponsorship. So there are justifiable explanation when it comes to us, women, and what we need to be able to fight for. And we deserve to qualify. There's highest level of toxic masculinity that we accept and approaching in every corner, particularly in South Africa, that we have internalized to live with. We say statements like only 9% of families are led jointly by a man and a woman, and over 68% are women-led household. And we normalize it as a country. It's okay to be a Mbogoto, but it's wrong for a person not to take care of his children. Be a Mbogoto, it's fine. But that doesn't mind us that somebody must also pay a contribution. So we've normalized it. Since in Mbogoto, you go to a graduation of a male or a 50-year-old birthday party, the only time you see a man crying is when he says, I was raised by my mom. And she was alone. I remember her struggle. And that's the only time. And we all become emotional in that function, and we look at this woman who says, who is being given that accolade, and society doesn't give her a standing ovation. It's unacceptable, and we must say it. We are not ashamed of raising the nation, but we should not be put at raising the nation of our own so that we can be called brave and bold. That's not what bravery is about. So we must also hold men accountable for what they said. If you read the writings of O.R. Tambo, if you read the writings of Samora Machel, for example, I will quote him. He says, the emancipation of women is not an act of a humanitarian or compassionate attitude. The liberation of women is a fundamental necessity for the revolution. The guarantee of its continuity is in the production of its victory. And the main objective of that revolution is to destroy every system of exploitation and build a new society which releases the potentials of every human being, women included. So this is the concept. Do we only allow them to talk about it and not hold them accountable? And I think that's the third point I want to raise, that it's not okay for us to clap hands for good speeches and believe that they are an income. They are what makes women. It's not okay. So they must speak, but they must walk the talk. So on our part, we must continue then to demand action. Words, relatively cheap. Podium, relatively easy to occupy. Walk the talk for us to be able to see. So platforms like this ones, where women come to re-engineer themselves, to synergize their thought, their love, their care, their beliefs, needs to be encouraged. Because it may only sound like it's awards, it's all of us coming together. But just have a thought when no one calls you to fellowship, how silent and lonely the corner becomes. And do not allow that you walk the journey and you don't look around where are others. And that is why writings of women who came before us, Charlotte McLeod says, when you rise, rise with the others. So I would want to leave you with that challenge, so that at least between now and the end, before we go to elections, you hold me accountable. So let's make a commitment that you are going to call me, that I bring my team, Tammy, that we get into the rooms as Angie, Mamkombo, and plan on how are we going to plot women-led companies in at least 15, 20 municipalities, and we pay them. If we do that, I would have achieved the reason why I attended this event tonight. If we don't do that, I'm sorry I wouldn't have. Maybe let me apologize in advance, colleagues. I may not be able to stay until the end, and I would have loved to take pictures with you and do all that. But I think you may have to allow me to go and do the other job that you said I must go and do. Thank you very much.
Ikamala makhosi kazima alibongwe, ikamala makhosi kazima alibongwe ma libongwe ma libongwe ma libongwe. Can we sing it as though we believe it? Can we sing it with heart, with spirit, with energy? Malibongwe ikamalama sikazima alibongwe ma libongwe ma libongwe ma libongwe ma alibongwe.
Such a beautiful space for our young ladies to learn about digital energy, especially now that, with the issues that we're experiencing in the country of load shedding. So it's really, really important for them to know how to even come up with these initiatives and also to learn from us, the ladies who are running the show. So we are open to bring our young ladies into the space with the vision of learning.
Sister, I will also speak more to how can this center also embrace some of the kids coming out of varsities and matric also? How can the center absorb all that workforce and make sure that these young people are productive?
As they say, we are living in the button generation, right? Where our kids are always on their phones, their laptops. So we need to talk more into that generation, because that is the generation that will take this to the future. And teaching them and getting them into the space is going to create more opportunities to grow our economy.
Okay, so the event is Women in Digital Energy, so it's called WIDE Awards. It's about honoring and celebrating women who have done wonderful things and made strides in the space of technology and energy and power. I can't tell you much about what it took to organize the event because I'm not the organizer, but I am, however, the host of the event, one of the hosts of the event, myself and Sophie Ndaba. And so we're literally driving the program, making sure that the women in the room are kept inspired and their spirits are kept up. But yeah, it's about women. It's the last day of Women's Month. But however, it's not the last of the battle. The battle for women's rights, the battle for women to be heard is only beginning, and it goes on throughout the year. So today we celebrate those women who have put their hand up and taken up space in the energy space and said, we're here to do it and we want to take the hands of the women behind us, empower them.
Why the digital energy space?
Because we're in the 5th industrial revolution. The digital space is now an economy on its own, and we are creating an economy using energy as a resource. In a time in South Africa, it's a strange question seeing that every couple of hours you experience load shedding, and so energy has become a thing. So we are about lifting our hands up and saying, how do we make sure that we are proactive? How do we make sure that in 20 years' time we're not going to experience the problems we're experiencing today? And so that's why we're discussing energy. It's very important, it's key.
Yes. Also, Lufanda, talk to also the women getting into business.
Well, entrepreneurship has become a way of life. If you think pre-1994, women were mostly expected to be raising children in households. That was primarily the role of women. But post-1994, where we have been acknowledged as people with skills, people with brains, people who can hold their own in the boardroom, it's very important that we take up that space and we start businesses, because yes, and not everybody's going to be employed in South Africa. Unfortunately, with the unemployment rate hovering in the 30-something% mark, it's very clear that a lot of people will not get the chance to be employed. However, we do have the skills within us. We do have the platforms that can teach us the skills if we don't have them, even the leadership skills. And the sooner we all start thinking at least about starting our own businesses, the sooner we can all start holding the hands of ours, because in those businesses we can empower other women, we can hire other women, we can feed thousands of other families.
And you wear quite a few different hats. How do you do it?
How do you do what?
What you do?
With great difficulty. I'm joking. Well, I always call it something of a juggle. I don't believe that it can be done with balance. Every now and then I drop balls myself and I just decide I'll pick it up next week. So it's about being aligned in the space that I'm in, I'm very much aligned because everything that I do talks to each other. I'm in the space of entertainment. I'm an actor. I'm a radio host. I'm a speaker. I'm in the space of social activism. All those things speak the same language. So there's nothing that I do that takes me out of who Lusanda is. So then it becomes a little bit easy because I don't have to do this, then this, then this. They all somehow kind of weave into each other.
Remember, as Thembi Master said, that the sun, the energy in the sky, we as Africans have probably 60% of it in Africa, which means it's there for the fetching. So as women in digital energy space, let me just say, women in energy space, we are saying the energy is there to be taken. Let's find ways to take it. Let's find ways to share it, distribute it, and more importantly, through digitizing it, we are documenting it so that our future generations are able to track it. Tracking is everything. I mean, if you want to track your bank account, you don't sit with a little book anymore. You digitally track it. So that's the space that we're going to, tracking everything. Let's track it all, including the energy.
Yes, women getting into business, entrepreneurship, how can you advise them? There's a pool of young people coming out of university, some complain of unemployment and so on. How can you advise them in this digital age?
Women, who want to go into the energy space, I would say anything that you get, whatever space you get into. I just think that you need to have the love for it and the resilience for it and understanding that business will always, even the richest people in the world, about Elon Musk, about whomever, they've had challenges. Even Mr. Virgin Atlantic himself had his own challenges where he lost millions and gained them, and now he's standing with banks and airlines and hotels and gyms and and there's even Virgin Money, for example. So what I'm trying to say is, if you look at the history of the most successful people, you must know that at some point they dipped, they never gave up, they went up. So the secret is never ever give up, especially when you dip.
Yeah. Just to conclude, Sophie, talk more also about your spiritual relationship, your relationship with God, how that has helped you over the years. Because being in front of people, is a challenge on its own. You always have to be on point and to be this figure that,
I always say glory to the Most High God, because He gives me all the strength. Everybody in the world, in Africa, knows my challenges, knows where I've been, knows what I've fought, knows what I've overcome. And those who don't know, I'm here to tell them there's nothing God can fix. So faith is the substance of things not seen yet hoped for. So whatever faith you have in your business, in yourself, in your children that are giving you drama, whether you're a parent going through something, whether you're a business person saying, but I've been trying this for 3 years, never ever give up for nothing. Because God, as long as you believe and you have faith, you've got that strength and that power from the Almighty who gives you even the ideas. My advice is even make time for yourself, space where it's quiet, so that you can hear the voice that speaks to you and says, how about this way? Those ideas that come, they don't just come, they come from Holy Ghost time.
Yes, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
What do you wake up and say to yourself in the morning?
I am a woman. I am proud of myself. I'm a mother, and I'll live for my children. I want the best future for my children. That I didn't get, my kid will get it.
Yeah, I love the conviction. A round of applause for her, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. One more person brave enough to tell me, if you had to describe yourself using a song, what song would you sing? One person brave enough to tell me, if you had to describe yourself using a song, what song would you get up and sing? And Thembi Nkadimeng.
And we are celebrating women, because you know what is a woman? A woman is the light of this earth. Without a woman, there's no energy, because a woman gives birth. And today, White is bringing the birth of energy in the 4th industrial revolution. I thank you.
Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen.
Vulani indlela kugabuka ubumnyama. Bama ngasibini singabi na juju. Khanda namachiza konakala ukuhlala. Ha! Namhla sigagene kodwa ndinguyinongqawusa intombi kaMhlakazeni wadiliza intaba zikaXhosa. Ndiligube evule utiba ujiyani siba soshubela abantwana ukhala kakhulu lumla abantwana. Umgodi omdala wathi damantshotshi inkomo zikathe inkomo zikasijekula. I am the divine universal infinite energy. Komlambo zibuyile inkomo zikatata, zibuyile inkomo zikatata, azibuyile hayi inkomo zikatata besiyela bala mavila wowe haye wawo hayi. Mbanamni nalandi ubonayo. Gamazolwanda yayaluzela na. Hayi. Yibiko kwinto entle kwilizwe liphela yini namadoda. Hayi. Is it a daffodil in the Rocky Valley? Inyibi bintyanyambe qaqamle yanqabana ezikhotyeni ngaphakathi kwamalwalwa kusini na. Hayi! Ngumfazi intsika yendlu kaAfrika. Yimbokotho rhayiqa ixole kusile kudithelwa kuhluze kuselwa kuhluthwe iqhansi izombelela indlu kaAfrika iqhansi longelemba. Sithi nqasho my honorable minister. Kambe kade kaloku kwanda kwaliwa ngumthakathi. Sithi enkosi for thinking of the African child.
Makeba mama busimhlongo nandi nakho yote Rapi rilaki tube kumkani ziprenda fasi ingatati ngoma yonke kanini biza nonke ndithi tamako kuningekalelo aspelelanga chotus fees waspel ay aspelela ay aspe aspele ay aspelela ay aspelela aspelela ay aspelela ay aspelela
Asisani kaloku sibakhawula. Nibembese kuba nibaxoya umthika nibanike ithoba. Bambelelani ngoma ningamadlala indlala. Yimi ngamanxele ngoma. Amathathu uncuthu lengoma balungane kwaba. Imvume abazinkiloza zidyonja. Kuthi kuthina kutshotha kungqoqa kungqomshana intabakhala. Ngeyaphukazana. Kufa kunjani na kunamadoda. Sahambi njonjeni nenjonjeni ikazi singayolelanga. Yawe inablela zathu isithonga. Wamangala umntu wenkabalala.
Shothi manje oyasiphelela. Ayasiphelela.
It's a wrap from us here in Midrand at the Women in Energy Awards. And it was a celebration for these women making ends and making a win of this sector. My name is Thembi Nkadimeng. Goodbye.